And I think Jay walked away a little mad because I probably didn't come up to bat for him enough by like going to the school administration and saying, hey, we got to keep this guy. He makes the whole world of difference.
When you talk to the athletes like the Ed Bannocks and the Lou Bannocks and Randy Lewis, they say that Jay Robinson was the guy instrumental in their career and how they got good. I mean, Dan Gable oversaw the program, but the one-on-one stories that they have about how they got better and the person that really guided them technically and had that personal relationship, a lot of people credit Jay for that. If you look at it, they won 7 in a row, Jay left, they won 2 more, and then they went on a dry spell for 4 years. So I don't know if you credit Jay exactly for that, but I think there's a parallel between Jay Robinson leaving for Minnesota and potentially why Iowa didn't keep that string going.
I came from Iowa State, went to Iowa. Hey, that was a good thing for the sport. Cale actually left Iowa State, got to Penn State. That was probably a pretty good thing for the sport. It's showing just by the fact that they're getting sellout crowds out there in Penn State. So for Jay, it was time, I think, for him to run his own show.
I stayed in Iowa City for 2 years, and I just ran camp, and then we had a farm, worked on the farm. That's what I did for 2 years. And then the job opened up at Minnesota, and I was young enough to get back into the sport. And Paul Giel, who was the AD, he hired me. We talked about all the things that we needed to be good and basically gave me all those things. I came to Minnesota and started another chapter in my life.
Jay going to Minnesota is one of the most critical moves in our sport when you look at it historically. The powers have always rested in Iowa, Iowa State, Oklahoma State, and Jay changed that. He forced his team into contention.
When I was at Iowa, from the time I got there and Gable got there, and Kurt Lemire was the head coach, it took 3 years to win the national tournament. So I thought that we could win it in 3 years. We came in, we went out, we had a #1 recruiting class, we got some really good people in, and we were posed to do very, very well in '89. And then it was just the perfect storm. A lot of things went wrong. And then in '94, the beauty of that season was, even though we didn't have a good national tournament, we kind of fell on our face in the national tournament. For 2 months, we were ranked #1 in the country, Minnesota, which did an incredible amount for recruiting. And then we brought in a class of guys that would later make up the class of '99. Chad Kraft and Tim Hartung became 2 of our leaders. Then we beat Iowa in the dual meet. We beat them in the Big Ten tournament, but yet at the NCAA tournament, we stumbled. And it was incredibly depressing. There's no other word for it. We got 2nd place in the country, and if you look at the photo, everybody's miserable. I was very mad at God, unbelievably mad at God. It's like, hey, I've worked, I've done everything, I've tried to do everything right. These guys have done everything right, and we get so close and we don't get it. I made my amends with the Lord and said, okay, I get it. I'm never going to win it. That's okay. I get it. I'm okay. I'm okay with it from now on. I'm going to try as hard as I can, but I'm never going to get there. When you invest so much, it's crushing when you lose. People are not necessarily good losers because they don't have a lot at stake. When you don't have a lot at stake in it, something, you win, you lose, it's not a big deal. But when you put everything into it, when you put your heart and soul in it, and you get that close, it's crushing, right? It's sometimes easier to get 6th than it is to get 2nd.
As the 28-day camp draws to a close, Trampe's group is out for a buddy carry. The group will run out for 20 minutes, after which wrestlers will pair up and race back to the dorms while carrying one another on their backs.
All right, here's the deal. First group back gets the positives, last 2 groups back and get the negatives. Ready, everyone hop on. Back the way we came.
For some reason, I just knew I was going to be good with it. I started kind of in the back, and we caught up to the front kids, and they were in the front basically the whole time. But we were on a bridge, and it was a huge straightaway, and I passed them on that. We were about 6 minutes away from campus. We kind of went back and forth for like 1 or 2 minutes, and my partner was kind of getting tired, so I kind of took over, and I got a huge lead on them. And I didn't really know what happened after that. I just kept switching with my partner, on the last straightaway going in between a street. I like hit my foot on the curb and then fell forward and I caught my balance and I was like balancing him on my back and like trying to make sure he didn't fall over, and he almost fell over top of me. They ended up passing us and I tried to switch real quick to catch up to them and I was just dead. They beat us just by a second. Nothing I could really do. I'm still kind of upset about that. I think I deserved the positive. I was going really hard.